but don't be wasting time. I wanna see your smile.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Y'all know me, it's your boy, one physical therapist assistant, one PTA. I hope y'all are doing all right. Oh, tired today, y'all. Tired today. Oh, this weather is nice. This weather is nice. This is what I'm talking about. I like a good 65 to 70 with a nice breeze. That's what we got right now. Whew. Hey, yo, today I brokered a chess match today. That's right, I brokered a chess match. I had a guy who's been playing around with the chessboard in the activity room, but he's been looking for a partner. Had nobody to play with. And then I had another guy who come in. He just came in the facility, new guy. And I asked him if he played chess. He seemed like he might have been a chess player. You know, I'm good at reading these types of things. And he said, yeah, he likes to play chess, but he hasn't played in a long time. So I was able to get them two together, and bam, they hit it off. They both each got a new friend, and they got a chess player. See, I told y'all about friends, man. You might make friends later on when you're 85, 90 years old. You never know. You might make some new friends later on in life. And it's a wonderful thing. So I'm glad he got to play some chess with a new buddy. I even got him to jog my memory on chess because I like to play chess, but I haven't played in a long time. Me and my wife, we taught ourselves how to play chess, and we were playing for a little while, but we kind of slacked off. I want to get back to it. So I got my man to kind of give me a refresher course on chess, but I said, you got to stand up and teach me. So I got him to stand up in the parallel bars, teach me a little chess, and we had a good time. Hey, yo, I told y'all I live in the state of Delaware, right? So, one thing you got to understand what's going on in Delaware. And I know I talk about it a lot. They're building a lot of real estate. A lot of houses are popping up everywhere. You know, new stores and a lot of new things, little shopping centers. And while that's a good thing for some, there's a lot of people who do not like it. A lot of people who are not feeling it, especially the old heads who have been here for decades, right? They are not feeling it. But you got to understand, you know, a lot of y'all came and y'all bought your house, and you thought that you might have thought that was going to be it. You thought you came and you found your little piece of, you know, the dream, your little quiet area with not a lot of people around, not a lot of traffic. You thought that all the building was going to stop. You can't think like that. I'm even seeing it in my neighborhood. You know, they build a lot of homes. And yes, you know, of course, idealistically, you want things to be nice, quiet, and peaceful where you live at. But it's not always the case. Not as long as there is ground to be built on and trees to be cut down. So I had a patient's wife tell me they are planning on building another 1,700 homes just down by the beach area in Delaware. 1,700, that is a lot. 1,700 homes just down by the beach area. They're planning on building a new movie theater, and they're planning on building a lot of new restaurants, I think a new strip mall down by the beaches of Delaware. So, like I told y'all, if y'all interested, come to Delaware. They're building, y'all. They are building. It's still a nice place, still a very nice place to live. And there's going to be a lot more options to live and entertain and eat in Delaware. But she said they're signing a petition. She said they got a petition going around to stop this building. But I told her, I said, ma'am, I think that's a valiant effort, but I really don't think you're going to stop that, because if there is money involved, if there is some greed and some assets to be built, I don't think a petition from the locals is going to put a dent in that. You feel what I'm saying? But that's the way it goes, y'all. That's the way it goes. But today, y'all, another topic, a touchy topic. I made a video about this before, but this is a new edition of this video. One of my therapist friends, I told y'all in the last few videos, talk about my therapist friends' number one rules for aging. I talked to you about my number one rule for aging, right? My number one rule for aging is the hoarding and the junk and the collection of stuff, because I see when you get older, you're just going to get rid of the stuff. All right. So I told you a couple of my friends' number one rules. One is to not be miserable. Another one was, what was the other one? One was don't be miserable. One was be good to your kids. Be good to your kids because we see the effects later on in life. Don't be miserable because we see the effects later on in life. Well, I had another therapist, really good therapist. Her number one rule, do not be morbidly obese. She might put it another way. But for the topic and title of this video, I'm going to say, do not be morbidly obese. Try your best not to be morbidly obese. So we got to go over a few things. And I hope this makes you think. This makes me think. Take me. I'm a 44-year-old man, right? I am 6 foot tall, maybe 6'1", 6 foot tall. Let's just say I'm 6 foot. I currently weigh in at 201 pounds. Yep, 6 foot tall, 44-year-old man, 201 pounds. Last time I got on the scale. I've looked it up to see where I fall at in the where you at range. Currently, I'm considered overweight. Yes, me, the physical therapist assistant, the guy who teaches you to exercise and eat healthy and stay healthy and be active. Yes, I'm considered overweight. That's right. I always tell people I'm in my dad bod stage of life. At 44, I'm in my dad bod stage in life. But it's not bad. I'm a granddad with a dad bod. All right? All right? My son puts me to shame. Because he's in his 20s and he likes to exercise and he's got muscles on top of muscles. And he reminds me of how I used to look a while back. But anyway, so yes, I am considered overweight. Not obese, but overweight. All right? I can remember, y'all ever been to a high school reunion? I went to one high school reunion. It was a 10-year high school reunion back in Baltimore City. Me and a couple of my friends, we decided to go to the 10-year high school reunion in Baltimore City. Went to a school called Mervo. And one thing I noticed, there was an overarching theme at this particular high school reunion. It was in the city of Baltimore. I told you I'm from Baltimore, okay? The hood, I'm from the city. My school was in the city. I keep saying the city for a reason. Urban area. When I went to that reunion, the overarching theme of that reunion was a lot of people that I went to school with became very, very, very overweight. Very overweight. Many obese. Now, think about where it's located at. It's in Baltimore. When you live in the city, any type of urban city, you're going to have what's called food deserts, which means you're going to have a very, very small number of options for eating good food, eating real food, eating healthy. And there's going to be an increase in the poor food choices, the unhealthy food choices. What do I mean? A lot of carryouts, a lot of fried foods, a lot of fast food, not very much produce, not many farms around that sell produce. There's maybe a farmer's market once in a blue moon, once in a while, but not very healthy food options when you live in the inner city. I'm talking about the city, in the inner city, all right? Not the outskirts, but the inner city. So it showed me that over a 10-year period, the people who I went to school with, and I'm talking about people who in high school look like healthy high school people. You understand what I'm saying? They look like healthy people. A lot of the skinny people from high school became big, and a lot of the you can say thick people from high school became really big. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of skinny people from high school in 10 years into adulthood became thick. bigger. A lot of the thick people who were in high school became morbidly obese. And I noticed this. I thought it was very, very interesting. But I thought about why this was happening. And it happened because of the environment. The environment has a lot to do with it. Has a lot to do with it. If you don't have a lot of good, healthy food options, it's a good chance that you're going to eat unhealthy. You're not going to eat very healthy. You're going to go with the quick meals. You're going to go with the deep fried food. You're going to go with the Chinese food full of oils and things like that. You're going to go with the fried chicken boxes. You're going to go with the cheesesteak subs. You're going to go with all that stuff. It's just normal. I was going with that stuff. I was eating that stuff. And I was putting on extra weight. I think my highest in Baltimore, I got up to about 229, something like that. When I lived in Baltimore in my mid-20s, I got up there. But I removed myself from Baltimore. When I removed myself from Baltimore, I came to Delaware. I started eating healthy because I had more health options, more healthier options, okay? I got down to my lowest I got down to is probably like 170 something, all right? This is back when I was real healthy. I was running miles every day. I was going a little bit too hard. A lot of people say I lost too much weight. But I'm just telling you about me and the observation I made of myself and also of my peers when I went back to Baltimore. So I'm saying all that to say that it's not easy to eat healthy in the environment that we're in. It's not easy. Even the country, man. The country is, I think we the second most obese country in the world behind, I think it was Mexico. I think Mexico took the lead because we were in the lead for a long time. But Mexico, I think, took the lead. The most obese human beings in one country. And that happens a lot with developed countries or richer countries. People get a little lazy. People want to eat the good. People want to indulge, in the unhealthy foods. And we have plenty of it to do that. But what we see in therapy, we see the late stage effects of that previous unhealthy eating. And the late stage effects scare us. It scares me. So this video is for me too. It's not just for you. I'm just sharing this stuff. But it's a wake-up call and a reminder to me that being morbidly obese later in life is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Recently, I had a lady who couldn't put her socks on, and there was entitlement behind people doing stuff for her because she has been in so many different facilities. She was used to doing stuff for her, so she just expects you to do things like put her socks on, pull her pants up because she can't reach them. She can't bend them. She's out of breath just reaching and bending to do these types of things. So it's more of, it doesn't come off, help me get my socks on? It comes off more so, or you're gonna have to put my socks on because I can't do it. You're gonna have to pull my pants up because I can't do it. In the bathroom, you're gonna have to wipe me because I can't do it. It comes off like that. So there's some entitlement that comes along with it. And when I say morbidly obese, I'm not talking about morbidly obese 80 and 90-year-olds. No, I am not. I'm talking about morbidly obese 50 and 60-year-olds. Because this is when it starts to become more problematic. It starts to become more problematic. What we see, 50s, 60s. If you make it to 70s, 80s, and 90s, then we are, I'm not going to say it's too late, but I'm going to say the problems are compounded. They are just compounded on top of each other because now we're introducing more health issues. There are more health issues that are popping up behind the morbid obesity. So my friend, she talks about how your life is affected in ways that you don't even know. Your life is affected in ways that you don't even know. Because you're going to affect other people with your weight. Your weight is going to affect other people. What do I mean by that? Well, there's going to be other people who need to help you. There's going to be multiple people who may have to lift you up. There's going to be multiple people who may have to help you stand up. There's going to be multiple people who may have to help you get on the toilet seat. There's going to be multiple people who may have to roll you in bed because you can't roll, okay? There's multiple people who may have to help you transfer to a wheelchair. Help you transfer to a wheelchair after you get up. There's going to be multiple people who may have to get a crane, a human crane, to help lift you out of bed if you can't stand up. Have you ever seen seeping legs? Have you ever seen seeping legs? I'm talking about legs so filled with so much fluid that they're wet to touch. You touch them, it's just wet, the legs, and no water has been sprayed on them. This happens a lot with morbidly obese patients. Have you ever heard of cellulitis? It's inflammation of your cellulite. Yes, anytime you hear the word itis, is inflammation of whatever that is, okay? So arthritis, inflammation of the joints. Cellulitis, inflammation of your skin and your cellulite. It's not a good sight. It's not a good sight. It's inflamed, it's bumpy, it's red, and it comes a lot with morbid obesity. There are certain facilities that won't take you if you're a certain weight. There are certain beds that won't fit you if you're a certain weight. There are certain wheelchairs that won't fit you if you're a certain weight. You feel what I'm getting at? The life gets affected. Your life will be affected in many, many ways if you're overweight. Let's think about steps. Are you going to be able to get up steps if you're morbidly obese? You might have a hard time. The older you get, it gets harder and harder. It gets harder and harder. Okay? You need joint replacements earlier in life as opposed to later in life. You need a new knee because there's been too much weight on that knee. I need a new knee in your 50s instead of maybe in your 70s or 80s. You feel what I'm saying? The amount of new medications you have to take because of the morbid obesity increases, which increases the cost of your health care. Okay? Your health care is affected in a tremendous way that you don't even consider. I'm telling you all these things because my friend, she highlights a lot of the things that people don't consider or realize. Your family gets affected. Your loved ones get affected by your weight. Your loved ones get affected greatly by your weight. Okay? What if you have a spouse who, let's say you and your spouse been together for a long, long time. And y'all getting up in age together, and it's a beautiful thing. Well, if you're morbidly obese and you have a fall, your spouse is too old and frail to help pick you up, as opposed to if you were smaller, maybe around their size, y'all might survive together with getting each other up off the floor and you fall. Because hopefully you live long enough to get to that point. I'm not saying I hope you get to the point where you fall. Hopefully you never fall. But we see a lot of it with the older adults, with the older population. And it's nothing like having a support system that can actually support you. When you're morbidly obese, it's hard for your support system to support you. Let me say that again in case you didn't hear me. When you're morbidly obese, it becomes hard for your support system to support you. It becomes hard for them. All right? It may not be doable by them. They may have to get professional assistance. You may have to go to a nursing home because of the weight. We've seen it time in and time out. Can you imagine a crane lifting you up? A human crane because you can't get up? You know how common that is in nursing homes with the morbidly obese? What about bed sores? If you're morbidly obese and you get comfortable as you get older and you like to stay in the bed, now we have skin problems. I'm trying to tell you all of the ways that the average person might not consider the weight issue. And I always say I know it's a touchy subject. But it's a subject that needs to be touched. The subject needs to be touched. And you'll find that many people's thinking behind this issue becomes kind of like abstract, kind of like this may not be the problem. When you find a person who's morbidly obese, who is upset, who's cussing, who's grumpy, A lot of times their grumpiness comes from a place that maybe something else is the issue. Maybe something else is wrong. Maybe the doctor is doing something wrong. Maybe the doctor is not giving me the right medication. Maybe the aide who caught an attitude with me, she's just mean. Maybe, therapy is not doing enough to help me. We get that a lot. Therapy is not doing enough to help me. The therapy didn't do anything. The place I stayed at was terrible. They didn't answer the bell when I called them. A lot of times you'll find that the blame gets placed other places outside of the literal, no pun intended, the elephant in the room. Or maybe there was a pun intended, the elephant in the room. Sometimes you got to focus on the elephant in the room, and not act like that elephant doesn't exist, because that elephant exists. This is something that we deal with a lot. And as therapists, we have to confront you about it. We have to ask you about the weight. We have to encourage you to lose the weight in order to get stronger, in order to reach your goals. Whew. What about a fall? You know how many times there's been a fall in a nursing home with a morbidly obese patient, and they have to get a machine to lift you up? Meaning, if you're morbidly obese, you have a fall, I don't think anybody's going to risk breaking their back to help you up. So they have to get the machine, and the machine has to encourage you to, and when you get the machine, you have to roll onto your side so they can get this sling under you, roll onto your other side so they can pull it out the other way. And then they have to get the machine and hoist it like so. So you see, it's so much involved. And usually that's like 2 or 3 people helping with that process. So the more you weigh, the more problematic it becomes for you and for other people. I have had patients who have had homes that they can't go to, can't get up the steps. I had one lady, never forget, she had to go in the house through the window. She had to take a window out. She basically turned her window into a door some kind of way. I have no idea. But they were describing the alterations they had to make to the home just for her to get in and out, because she couldn't get to the door because they had steps. They couldn't afford a ramp, and she had no help to get her up the steps. I have people not be able to go home because they can't get up the steps because of the obesity. Like, I'm talking stuck in the nursing home. But all signs say that they could go home. I'm talking they can get up and move. They can take care of themselves in the toilet. They can get dressed. But because of the weight, they are not able to climb 5 steps and had nobody to help them and could not go home. So many ways. I'm trying to give you some of the ways and some of the levels that it affects you later in life, while being sensitive to the subject, because I am sensitive to the subject. I told you I'm overweight, so that I have to remind myself about this. Whenever I want to indulge, y'all be seeing me. I'll be stopping for pizza and Dunkin' Donuts. Everybody likes food. So what is one of my goals? One of my goals is, of course, I work in therapy to stay active, but I also want to remove myself from an environment that encourages it, because our society encourages it. I tell you, I work in healthcare. Our healthcare system is projected to increase in the money, as far as, it being $1 trillion industry at some point soon. I think we close to the 800 to 900 billion range. It's going to hit over $1 trillion with the costs. Constantly increasing. And we're also projected to be heavier as a society. So yes, we are projected to produce more morbidly obese older people in the future, in the coming years. That is what's projected by all of the science and all of the studies. You think that's a planned thing? I think it's a planned thing. I think it's by design, right? Okay, you can't have that type of system without having a bunch of sick people. And you can't have a bunch of sick people unless you're constantly feeding them poison or making poison an option for them to eat. There's a lot of poisonous options out there. And these poisonous options taste good. Taste good. Whew. So you just got to be mindful, y'all. You just got to be mindful. I'm encouraging you to consider and think about your future self. Think about your older self, which I don't think many of us do. But being old and morbidly obese is a hard life for you. It's a hard life for your loved ones. It's a hard life for your caregivers. It's a hard life for a facility if you end up in the facility. It's a hard life for your friends. It's a hard life for everyone involved. So a personal decision can help make life easier for you and for everybody else who cares about you. Personal decision. That personal decision is, maybe I want to be healthier. Maybe I want to lose weight. Maybe I don't want to eat as much poison. No, nothing wrong with treating yourself. But at some point, you gotta chill. You gotta chill. But anyway, y'all, sorry to be so serious with this one. Hope I didn't touch many nerves. With this one. But if I did, maybe that's a good thing. Because we do need to hear it. As a society, we do need to hear it. Again, what is my plan? I plan on removing myself from an environment that encourages the poison, that encourages the unhealthiness, that it's just normal to eat large portions at every meal. That's just a normal thing. So I'm trying to change up my thinking on that and also stay active and exercise, which I always encourage you to do. So, y'all, it's your boy, One Physical Therapist Assistant. As always, I appreciate y'all for coming through and hearing me rant about the things I learned from the elderly adults. And this is one of the main things I learned from them. This is my coworker's number one rule for aging. It's her number one rule. And your healthcare workers, we are the ones that are going to end up hurting our backs, herniating our discs, bulging our discs, developing arthritis and strains and things like that from helping pull, tug, and lift on morbidly obese human beings. So, listen to my therapist colleague, y'all. Number one rule for aging: do your best to not be morbidly obese. Do your best to avoid obesity as you age. Can't stress it enough. So anyway, y'all know what it is, man. Same rule always apply. Make sure you respect your elders. Please respect your elders. Do some good deeds for people, man. Help people out whenever you get a chance. And I will holler at y'all in the next video.
Don't be wasting time, I wanna see your smile. Hey, you wanna roll with me? I'll be your fantasy, let's do this secretly. And if you stay the night, yeah, if I do alright, you might be coming back for more. And if you're coming back, we must be on the right track, and I'm stepping up for sure. If it's alright with you, I'll bring a table for two at this fancy restaurant. And if you still want me, I'll make sure to be the best you ever had. If I was your man, I'd be the best you ever had. If I was your man, I'd be the best you ever saw, the best you ever had. And we would be as happy as sure.